our goal is to sell your home in the least amount of time, for the most amount of money, and with the least amount of stress. That sound good? Good, good. You know, there's three things we're gonna talk about for that goal. One is the motivation, and we talked a little bit about why you're moving to Texas, want to be with family. We'll talk about the price you set on your home, and then how we're gonna market your home, what makes me different than other agents. And something I also did, what I caught myself doing was I actually, in bold and somewhere else, they talk about, if he was sitting back like that, I was sitting back like that. He's crossing his arm, I was going, and I didn't realize I was doing that until I was halfway through. It's like, oh, I'm already kind of doing
Oh, we didn't kiss her at any point.
No, he was between us. So
Oh, wait. You sat between them?
No.
No.
Okay, all right.
Husband, wife, I sat on the end, just like
Okay.
this, only they were on this side of the table.
Okay, good.
So did you find that you were doing that naturally?
Yeah, it's like I have
Or were
almost done the thing. I'm sitting back like this, and he's sitting back like this, and then she leans forward, and I'm leaning just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing what he's doing. And I wasn't. At first, I wasn't doing it intentionally. Then after I realized that's what I was doing, that's what I was
Did you make a face when you realized, like, oh?
Probably. All right, so sorry I interjected that, but we talked about where you're moving to and how soon you want to be there. We're trying to get there by December, so you can be there with your kids. If you consider about how much net proceeds, what your bottom dollar is going to be when you got that figured out, okay? And do you know what the principal amount of your mortgage is? I had $48,000. What do you know what the principal mortgage is?
Yeah, I think so, if I can get it.
Okay. And it happened to be $240,000, not $48,000.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's quite a difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, so anyway, that just gave me another point of
But you
contact.
took that off. We didn't have that one on. You didn't leave that on here, did you?
It was on there.
Okay, I thought we talked about that, but I always I don't put that mortgage amount on there. It's on there, and I talked to them about it because of what happened right here. In their mind, when they see that 500 and whatever it was that's on there, and now it's 200 less. Yeah, so take it off and ask them, and then I also always tell them to call their lender, even if they think they know what it is, and find out what the payoff would be 30 days from, or 45 days from now, once we get it listed and get it out there on the market.
I turned it into more of an interesting conversation, not wasn't that big of a deal, so I won't do it.
Good.
Today we're gonna consider things that I gotta stop interrupting myself. Market conditions, evaluations, so we're gonna either decide if we're gonna list your house, or we're going to decide this is not the right time. And anyway, we're gonna do whatever's best for you and your best interest. Things that affect the price of your home, the condition, you've done a great job of maintaining your home. You've got brand new wood floors because you had those replaced a couple of years ago. Carpet's in great shape, landscaping's nice, everything's really nice. Did some painting. The location, premium location, is highly desirable area, so that'll help us. The market, we talked a little bit about that when I came in, how the real estate market's changed a little bit from a year or so ago, where people would list in the morning and have multiple offers by afternoon. Things have changed a little bit with interest rates and things. And then of course the terms, and those things like, do you apply early occupancy, delayed occupancy? Are you paying for concessions, things like that, things on your side of the transaction that you can do to incentivize the buyers. A little bit about the condition of the home. We've got to make sure the condition actually reflects the value of the home. It's been well maintained. Your house is 13 years old. It's in still really good shape. And, are there things, the HVAC or plumbing, anything like that, that might have issues that can affect the value as well. General upkeep, again, we talked about that. And then some of the factors that will affect your condition are your appliances. Do you have upgraded appliances, upgraded countertops? Those types of things. Location, again, you're at a premium location, so whatever, that's gonna give us a benefit. You're close to shopping, schools, hospitals, highly desirable area, close to Riverdale, close to Rogers, actually in Rogers. Keep in mind, even though all those things, I can't change the price. Whatever it is, the price is always gonna be the bottom line. The market, whether you're in a recession or high interest rates or mortgage availability, all those things also can affect the price. Right now there are people that have 3% interest mortgages that don't want to sell their houses, and so there's putting a little bit of pressure on buyers have enough inventory, so that could also help us in that regard. We just always have to make sure the price reflects the market, because it'll affect how fast we can sell your home. Terms, we talked a little bit about that. Are you gonna require a non-refundable deposit, delayed occupancy? You talked about you don't wanna leave until after Thanksgiving because you got family plans. If we sold it, we would have to just make sure we don't wanna do an early occupancy, because that would be problems, just things like that. Pre-inspection, there's just several things that can affect the terms, that can affect the price. You have any questions so far, Hannah?
No.
Okay, you good? Factors that influence the price of your home. Of course, we talked about market conditions. The motivation as a seller, you are motivated, you've got family reasons that you want to move to Texas, that'll be a big part of it. Terms we talked about, exposure, just how much exposure can I as an agent get in the market, between open houses, online services, whatever the advertising marketing plans we develop for your house. And of course, the features, you've got a 3-car garage, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, it's a nice home. Things that don't affect it, no matter what you paid for it, doesn't matter, that doesn't affect the price now. Some investments, may have an impact on it, what you get from it, all those things, they don't affect the price. The price is what the market value is going to be, what somebody's willing to pay for it. This interesting slide just helps to show that we're still in the seller's market when we're down to we're about two months of inventory. This just helps us show that it's still a seller's market, so you have a better opportunity maintaining the price on your side than the buyers have, versus it peak in 2008, 2010 when buyers control the market. And so in your price range, we're probably at about almost 2 months of inventory, so that's good for you to sell. Things are still takes a little longer. It's not like it was last 2 years, but still to your favor. Just some information about what's been sold year to date versus last year. So this time last year, there been 9,543 transactions. And this year, 8,469. So we're down a little bit on total sales year to date, year over year. Pending's about even. The next slide is really more interesting, is in that we see at the same time last year, there's only about 3,800 price reductions. This year, there's almost 6,000, almost twice as many price reductions. So that means we're not pricing our homes properly in the market. So people are having to go out and price it much higher. And they're not getting that, so we're having price reductions to get back in line with the market. Price increases are about even, so there's not as many price increases. Any questions so far? Okay. And then in the price range we're looking at for your home, if you'll see, we're between the $600,000 to almost $700,000. You can see that the days on market is about 74 or 66, just kind of depends on that price range. You start getting below the $400,000 price mark, you start seeing a little faster turnaround, because there aren't as many people want to buy more of the high-end homes. When you get the $1 million homes, it's even a little bit longer, because it's not everybody wants to buy $1 million for a home. And then you can also see in the column that do I have a marker? Doesn't have a marker, does it? But the sales price versus list price average, you can see also that sellers are still getting close to 91%, at least in the $400,000 mark, and below they're getting close to what their list price is. And even at the $600,000, $700,000 range, you're at 98%, so you're still getting pretty close. We would expect, if we price it right, we should expect to get pretty close to this price. Pricing is very important, because in the first 2 weeks, that's when we're going to see the most activity. Two kind of categories of buyers are going to be those new buyers who haven't seen the property before, and of course, then there's some buyers that are out there that haven't found what they want. After we get past 2 weeks, really all you're going to do is new buyers, because the others have already seen it, they've already moved on to the next one. So it's really important to price it correctly the first 2 weeks. In fact, what we say is if we haven't seen any activity the first couple of weeks, then we're probably going to want to talk about the price reduction. If there's been no showings, no offers, and no nothing, then we're too high. So we'll have that conversation. I want to make sure you set the expectations now. And then if we start seeing some showings and no offers, we're still a little bit high, so then we'll reduce the price again. This just shows generally across all the industry across the U.S. that if we price it correctly, we should expect to capture about 60% of the market, opportunities. If we're about 10% above, then only about 30%, so the higher above the price, market value of the property, the fewer, the lower, the smaller amount of people that look at it. Just conversely, if it's, if we're 10% below, then we'd expect, 75% of shoppers out there, if you will, we get their attention, so we wanna hit that sweet spot right at the middle. We're gonna talk a little about market analysis. We identified some products, some houses, properties that are in your area. There's not been a lot, as you know, there's not been a lot of sales in your neighborhood, so we've had to kind of reach out to some of the surrounding neighborhoods to get some, because you have one of the larger homes in your neighborhood, a little higher value than the others, so we have to reach out to get some. So we'll talk about some that are recently sold, some that are still on the market. You know, to pull up any expires that they're wanting you that were comparable to you in your area. And so we'll look at some of those as well. These are the properties that have recently sold or are pending in your neighborhood. And then I looked at square footage, bedrooms, to get as close to comparable to yours as I could. That first one, $845,000, actually it's about the same size, but they've got 6 bedrooms, 4 baths, so it's not really a big comp. The other ones we looked at are either in your neighborhood, Hearthstone, see you've got Hearthstone, Liberty Bell, and Liberty Bell North, so those are all within, really close to your neighborhood and also in size. You can see that we've also had some that sold, at list price, so they priced it correctly, like the second one there, Coke Ridge, 640 versus 640. We've got one in Liberty Bell that was, they had to reduce their price. Also noticed that it was on the market almost twice as long, 59 days versus 38 days, and so it took them a while to realize they needed to reduce the price. And we don't know what the last two have sold or are under contract for, they're pending, we won't know that till after the close. But these are all, I believe these are all good comps for your home. This is, one picture I had of your house was Google, hadn't been there yet, so we got a picture of your house. You're 3,429 square feet, 4 bedroom, and actually learned how to do it that fast, about 4. It's about 13 years old in Hearthstone. One of the ones we call, this is the one that's not really, it's a bigger neighborhood, also it's a much newer house. It's 21. You can see from the photos, it's got newer features, newer countertops. So this is why I'm not going to count it. I just want to show you that's also one of the some of the competition out there at your property. This one's actually in your neighborhood. You can see they got, looks like maybe some newer floors. It's in 2017, so 7 years newer than your home. Pretty close in square footage, and it's sold at 640. You're about, actually about 400 square feet bigger, so that'll make a difference as well. But you can see some of the features, tile backsplash and all. And this is one that sold under list price. You can tell the kitchen still looks a little bit dated. It's about the same age, it's about 3 years newer than yours, so it's, here's another one that's also in your neighborhood, a little bit smaller. Sold at $612,000. You can see it's got granite countertops. It's got some nice features, but it's a little bit lighter, so it's probably had some remodel done. And this one's really kind of cool. It's got that really contemporary stairwell, so they've done some remodeling. It's 7 years old. It looks like they've done some remodeling. They have the new style floors, very contemporary looking. New rails on the, looks like new rails on the stair perhaps. And then again, this is one we use as a comp. This one was 2006, a little bit older. You can see it's got granite, but it's a little bit dated granite, but they have brightened up the kitchen some. Nice curl appeal. And so I talked a lot more about the prices offline. I had the net sheets in my hands, and so I went through the net sheets. I didn't bring extra net sheets to talk about here, but I went through the net sheets with them, just the same one you saw up there. I had 3 of them. I used a low, mid, and high. And we talked about the first 2, and I was reserving the high price until I actually got in the house to see it was still in pretty good shape, because if it looked like it was 13 years old, then I wasn't going to show that one at all. But it looked like it was in good shape, so we talked about that. But I did use that offline as handouts instead of in the presentation, because that way I could control whether they saw the how or not. Sorry, I don't have that in front of me. And then I talked a lot about why I use Keller Williams in general. We're ranked in the top 10, we're number 2 in the top 10, pretty close in volume. Pretty close in total units sold. We actually list more and our competitors sold more. But we are one of the top agencies or type brokerages in the area. You're not getting just me, I'm one of 300 and some odd agents, and so even if I weren't around, I've got colleagues that will help me, if I need to show your house and I was in another appointment, I've got colleagues that will do that for me or help me open houses. We could probably have an open house every day of the week if we wanted to get on our team. What about open house? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are pretty popular days, and so that would probably be.
Yeah, that's good.
And we'd give you plenty of notice, so you wouldn't have to, we would joke at your door. Just reiterate that, we're about 300 agents in the region, had $1 billion in volume last year, and almost 3,200 units sold, and so we know what we're doing, and I've got a great team I work with and the support for that, so. We'll do the basics, put it in MLS like everyone else, put a sign yard and everything, but also we've got online opportunities, and so we'll be network across all the different platforms. Also I have my own website, and I'll be able to promote that. I need to consider doing some out-of-state promotion as well, because we know we know where buyers are coming to, that are being referred to, so we know what cities that we can promote, so we can do something like that as well if we need to. Of course, open houses, some of the questions they asked were about, commission and what all is included in that. I told them professional photography, videography, I might consider that as well. I usually have someone do some pre-staging for the photography, so that it's all the stuff that's put away needs to be put away. The stuff's kind of organized, so it looks, like somebody else's home, not their home. And it's all included in my fees, because that's one of the things I don't want to say I was justifying, but I want to explain why. When they said, do we accept a lower commission because they're hearing that, I said, that's not what I do, because here's all the things I'm paying to do out of that. I mean, that fee pays for all this activity. Just a couple testimonials for people that I worked with before. I don't think it was important, the point that we got to with this particular client, because by that time they already loved me.
Of course they did.
And then just how to find me again. And it went slower because, unlike, they had lots of questions.